Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Parmida. Girl, I know it's been a minute. If you are part of my Insta fam, if you've been watching my stories, you know I share my whole life there. So make sure to follow me on Instagram. You know, my school has started since like almost 4 weeks ago. So this girl has been a busy bee. I'm literally juggling in between 2 different jobs plus school, have a social life once in a blue moon. So we're getting to that point that I'm kind of getting used to it, but not 100% there. That's why I'm back here. So let's hope that I'll be super consistent. Speaking of school, at this point, I breathe, I walk, I sleep, I talk, I eat, drink, anything you can imagine about fashion field. I blog about it. I work at the retail job. I'm a buyer. I go to school for fashion marketing. So I thought, what's a better way to create content around basically my life? So I thought, why not? Let's come up with a series, name it Parmida's Fashion School. That way I can share with you all the knowledge that I have gained over the years working in retail, being a buyer, salesperson, stylist, being a blogger, and on top of it, now that I'm going to school for it. So I want to just share all the good and bad about this field. We're going to talk about trends, anything you can imagine, from color, fabric, silhouette, anything you can imagine related to fashion, and we're gonna just talk about it. Honey boo boo, we're talking about trend in this episode, in this class. Let's call it a class because trend is a core of fashion. I want to talk about how something becomes trendy and popular, who are the people that introduce the trend to the consumer, and all that jazz. Fashion has been around since like we have ever existed, from the cave life till now, which is the 21st century, honey boo boo. Yes. There are some like Vogue archives from back in like mid 1800s till now, which is cray to me. Anyways, since then we were trendy bitches, you know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Even back when we were putting leaves in front of our hoo-has, you know? I mean, I did not have any leaf for this lady over here behind me because I was like, let's be a 80s chick, free the nipples, make this video more introducing. What? Introducing. Let's make this video more Let's make this video more interesting by being naked. I couldn't be nude. YouTube wouldn't allow me. My family would disown me. So I thought, why not? Let's use the mannequin. Fashion industry is such a fast-paced industry, and we're always a season or 2 ahead of what is going on right now. The major fashion months happen twice a year. Once in September, which is the biggest one, and then in February. February showcase all of the upcoming autumn and winter collections, and September showcase all the spring and summer trends. There are different ways of introducing a trend to consumers. So we have the catwalk runways that we just talked about, the shows. This is like one of the main and oldest way to do, working with catalogs, the magazines. The second one would be the street style, which is very popular nowadays, and millennials brought it to the surface. And by street style, I mean like it could be your favorite fashion blogger walking down the street or working with a brand wearing something, and just because you love that person or you like their style, you would literally go to the store and buy the same item. One other street style could be like your favorite celebrity is wearing something, and that's been around for like ages, since like our grandparents' time, like Marilyn Monroe, Audrey, all those people, whatever they were wearing, people would get inspired and basically go out there and buy the similar or exact item. The difference between nowadays with old times is just like the internet rule the world, you know? We see everything firsthand, literally the same day. So back in the day, a magazine editor or anyone who was a big deal in fashion industry would go watch these shows in fashion months and then report about them, write them in the magazine, in the catalogs, and then that way they would basically tell the story to the consumer, what's coming up or what's not. And if you were wealthy enough, you were able to actually attend all these shows as well. At this point, right now, 21st century, we all have access to internet. So many of these brands even share live video while the show is happening on their websites. So you and me can practically watch the show. And if you don't get a chance to watch it, you see it later on Instagram, on Facebook, through your favorite bloggers. There is a curve. I want to just insert the picture probably right here. We call it a trend curve. So what happened is on this curve, as you can see, we start from introduction phase, then it goes to rise phase, and then goes to peak, decline, and rejection. One trend can last for like a year, one trend can last for 3-4 years, and one trend can last for just one season. It just really depends on how people like the trend, how popular the trend is, and all that stuff. So basically, fashion is built based on the consumer, not really the designers. The designers, the merchandisers, the buyers, they work very closely together to see what's popular within the population, what people are looking for, and that way they decide what's next and what's coming in the future seasons. So that's how the trend literally builds. The main trendsetters are the luxury designer brands, you know, like Chanel, Gucci, Dior, Fendi, Prada. They introduce a trend to a population by working very closely with celebrities, with influencers, bloggers to introduce it through social media, and also bringing the design and showcasing the designs on catwalks and runway. So what happened is when a trend gets introduced to people, major retail stores like, let's say, Neiman Marcus and Saks Fifth Avenue, Bergdorf, they order a limited quantities of each garment. So if you walk into the designer section of Neiman Marcus, you notice they don't have all the different sizes. Or if they do, there are only 1 or 2 maximum. What they do is actually very smart because they are covering their ass just in case not a lot of people are interested in this new trend. They didn't buy many of this garment to just have it sit on the floor and paying out of pocket. What they do is they go out there, buy the garments in very low quantity to see how the consumer respond to the trend. If it gets popular, if they keep selling the garments, they add more quantities, they order more, and then later on, they transfer that trend to their contemporary department. So if you've noticed, when you walk into Saks, when you walk in Neiman Marcus, the women's section has its own designer section and contemporary section. So the contemporary department basically is a street style. It's mostly Americans. It's like a casual. You can, I mean, they do have cocktail dresses, mini dresses that you can dress up or down. But the whole point of contemporary line is the price point is much lower than the designer, the quality of the items, the craftsmanship is very well, but it's not as great as the designer item, and they have more quantities because again, the price point is lower. After the positive response, the buyers, the merchandiser, they try to order more of the same concept, same style, same, like silhouette, color of a garment from a contemporary line in more quantities. That way they know they sell them more. Meanwhile, there are two types of consumer. One is the leader, the fashionista, and the second one is the follower. Here and there, I'm gonna just bring up some example. That way you can, differentiate between these two. As soon as something becomes trendy and gets introduced to the consumer, if that leader, if that person, the blogger, the fashionista, whatever you wanna call them, they like that trend, they start wearing it, okay? At the beginning, normal people might even hate that trend. So let's say after a season or two, that person keeps wearing this and it gets more accepted by the society, by the consumer. So that trend actually goes up to the next phase, which we call rise. The trend is rising, more people know about it, it's more popular, and at some point, the rise phase, it's where the contemporary lines come forward. After the rise hits, at this phase, we're about to hit almost the peak point of the trend. Now at this point, everybody knows about the trend. Like your grandma, your grandma's sister, your grandma's mom, everybody wearing the trend. So as an example, transparent shoes, they became very popular and trendy when Yeezy came out with the style, probably like 3 years ago. Not so many people were wearing it. Kim Kardashian probably was the first person who wore the shoes, and I remember everyone made fun of her. After a season or two, when it got introduced to the consumers, some people started wearing it, like 6 months, 7 months later. And then last year, when the trend got kind of like not saturated, but it became very popular, meaning all these fast fashion stores. We're gonna talk about that fast fashion in a different class because that needs the whole different video. But fast fashion stores, meaning like Zara, Topshop, Mango, Misguided, Nasty Gal, came out with the transparent shoes. More people were buying it. So it got from introduction phase, very quickly went to rise, and from rise, very, very even quicker, went to peak. So it got to its peak point probably around May or April of 2019. So literally everyone was wearing it. At that point, let's say in May of 2019, the fashionistas were kind of shifting to the new trend, which was the square toe slide sandals, because Bottega Veneta just came out with a new design. Basically, it was the redesign of an old trend from the 90s, over-exaggerated square toe slides that all the fashion forward, the leader of the fashion, were starting wearing it in the summer and kind of like putting that transparent, especially the slide with the clear heel back on the side because all the followers were wearing them. There is nothing wrong with that. I'm just giving you the facts, but you wear what you like to wear. If you like to wear transparent shoes for the next 10 years, you do you, boo. That being said, when the trend hits its highest peak point, it's when that the leaders are already bored with that trend and they are looking for the new trend. So the next step would be all these trends are going on sale because everybody is buying it, everybody knows about it. When this items goes on extreme sales, they become way more cheaper, more accessible to the consumers. That's when we call it the decline phase. After the decline phase, it's a rejection phase, meaning the store can carry that item forever and ever and ever, but they're not really able to sell it no matter what on the sale rack, not on the sale rack, promotional rack. I hope you guys like this video. It wasn't boring, and it was informative. You gained some knowledge, I promise you. From the next video, we're gonna have so much fun. You cannot believe. I just had to get this out of the way, explain to you the core and base of the fashion. That way, if I use any of the terminology in later videos, you're not that confused. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for watching. I love you guys so much. Thanks for sticking by my side, although I was not able to post very consistently over here on YouTube. That being said, make sure to subscribe. Make sure to follow me on Instagram because I share a lot on my stories. Literally everything I do on a daily basis, I share it right there. I'm an Instagram whore. And that's it, you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video. Take care. Love you. Stay beautiful. Bye.